Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the ZWIFT Community Live Weekly Windup, where we talk about all things going on out on ZWIFT, the week past, the week coming up. We almost didn't make it today. We had a lot going on. We're about 15 minutes late. We lost one of our co-commentators, one of our co-hosts today. Last moment, Greg Leo from Turbo has turned into a logo. That is all that is left of Greg Leo, at least for the day today. So no Leo with us alongside of us today, but that's all right. We've got along with us Nicola Cranmer from Team ShowAir 2020 for the weekly windup. We had a whole lot of last-minute changes because of the change up here. But Nicola, welcome to the program, and it's been a little bit hectic the last 10 minutes, but I think we're going to get it done.
Yep, you got through it, and it's good to be back. I'm in a room with furniture now. I'm back in Idaho for a week before I head back to Arizona.
What's happening in Idaho that you're traveling around so much?
Yep. So we've got the Chrono Kristen Armstrong UCI time trial on Friday. So the team is showing up today and tomorrow, and then we have the Boise Twilight Criterium Saturday night, which is an amazing event. 20,000 people come out and watch. And Sunday, Hincapie Grand Fondo.
Wow, whole lot going on over the weekend. So it sounds like lots of racing. We'll be keeping up with that. If, maybe we could get somebody to post some links in the chat to all the places to follow all that. That would be really awesome, so that we could, just everybody can know exactly where to find all of that racing. Knights of WAHOO Talk. Yep, it's on its way. So first thing, breaking news that we want to talk about. It was like a last-minute add to the program today. I wasn't sure that we were going to cover it. I'll see if the update has come to their website yet, but we do see here on Cycling News, Cycling Weekly, WAHOO acquires Sufferfest to complete training ecosystem. So this is a brand, just literally 20 minutes ago, this came out to the public. WAHOO has acquired Sufferfest. I tried to get some chatter from ZWIFT. I contacted marketing, seeing what was going on as far as how they saw this. What was the, idea? Is this a competitor that's on the way? Like, you have a manufacturing company now purchasing a software company that seems to kind of be in the same space. 1 week ago, we also talked about how Sufferfest just announced esports training programs, and we thought that those were specifically aimed at esports on ZWIFT. That there wasn't going to be, there was no idea that this was going to be anything to do with competing with ZWIFT. I'm not sure that this is actually anything to do with competing with ZWIFT, but it's definitely, I think, on everyone's radar, right? I mean, we want to definitely. And if there's anybody in chat, I already see Casey Shum saying something here. We definitely want to bring in your interaction on this talking point as well. Casey Shum saying Knights of WAHOO Talk. That's obviously Knights of Sufferlandia. He is, bringing into the broadcast there a little bit as well. So, that's the idea there, is that now we have this mixture of a training platform alongside a hardware company. That's something that ZWIFT has also, it seems like, been waiting for as well, or at least looking for more integration from the hardware companies. So, Nicola, any thoughts on this? This is kind of like out of nowhere. I had no idea. Like, I just had the morning to think about it. I threw it at you in the last minutes before we were coming into this into this program here today. But breaking news.
Yeah, exactly. This is all brand new news, and really on a brand new platform to me as a professional cycling team owner. But I think it's all good. This is a really good indication that everything is moving in the right direction when companies are buying companies and they're seeing the potential in this esports arena and the community aspect of it too. So to me, it's all good news.
For sure.
Competition is healthy.
Yeah, competition is healthy, and I think the other thing is people are spending money in a space. I think that's what you kind of just said. Is like there's money being spent in a specific space, which means there's growth, that people are paying attention there. I'm not sure, maybe it's more of like Zwift is doing really, really well in this area, and we can be a part of that in the same way that these companies already support your athletes as a tool that they use to race, right? And I think Zwift is looking to be a destination in the same way as the real life cycling genres are. And so I wouldn't necessarily think of this as competition unless all of a sudden Sufferfest says, here's the next Zwift. But instead, it's kind of like, I think they're still aiming at Zwift is the destination that we are training you for, if that makes sense, Nicola.
Yeah, that does. It does. And yeah, just building it out. I mean, like you build out your race team or you build out your race season. I think it's just adding assets to something that already exists. And we'll see, though. It's exciting.
Yeah, super exciting and cool to see people, companies getting involved. Remember, comment on the Facebook video or tweet at Z Community Live any questions or comments. Also, we are watching the YouTube as well as the Twitch. Any comments that come through that are making a point toward what we're up to, make sure to bring them on in. Before I get to Casey's comment there, I do want to say real quick, we do have Chloe DYGERT on today and are fielding any questions or comments for her from social. Let us know. We'll try and mark those as they come through. I'm going to ask some of the moderators maybe to highlight those and message me with them that are in the chat just so I don't miss them as they go by. But make sure to go ahead. Any questions you have for Chloe, that would be absolutely awesome. We definitely want to field those. But Casey here definitely want to know his thoughts. Long time Zwifter says, Training Road and Summerfest are probably the biggest overlap in paid platforms with Zwift. They are more workout based and not multiplayer, but Summerfest and Trainer Road are great training platforms, which is kind of what we were just saying there. I think there is a little bit of, definitely strong competition on the workout side of things, which Zwift has been trying to get into, which is interesting. Carissa, who needs to always just calm down, says things are interesting, but wonder what their future plans are. I don't think they're aligning to compete directly with Zwift, but people only have so much money to spend. That is a very good point, although we're talking about cycling. Nicola, how much do your bikes maybe cost to the public? MSRP?
Oh, our bike's about $10,000.
Yeah. So, it's, you talk about the price increase, but I think TR and Summerfest don't stay fresh. They will lose to Zwift if Zwift got workout improvement. This is true, and I think that they're trying to get on top of that right now. So great points all around. That's your breaking news. WAHOO does acquire Summerfest to complete the training ecosystem. I'm going to just do a quick little read through of the official here. Some of it. The leader. Now this is their announces acquisition, the official PR release here. The leader in connected fitness devices has today announced its intention to acquire the Summerfest, the most complete training platform for cyclists, triathletes, and other endurance athletes. So obviously this is their stick out to the rest of the world. Chip Hawkins, founder of WAHOO, says, we are really pleased to bring together the Wahooligan and Sufferlandria communities. We share a common passion for the performance of endurance athletes, and collective knowledge will provide additional benefits to athletes everywhere. So WAHOO remains committed to growth in indoor training and fitness sectors, and will continue to integrate and collaborate with as many leading software providers as possible. So he purposefully added in there, though, just so everybody knows, purposely added in there, WAHOO remains committed to the indoor training and fitness sectors, and then will continue to integrate and collaborate with as many leading software providers as possible. So obviously with the purchase, I think they're signaling there in the PR release that, look, we're not looking to directly compete, but collaborate. I think, who's the leading software company, Nicole? Is Zwift, right? I mean.
No doubt. Yeah, hands down.
I mean, I think that's about all there is to that. And there's a couple more things out here. The partnership brings together two companies. And this is Dave McClellan. He's the founder of Sufferfest. Bring together two companies with strong history of innovation, strong sense of identity that made Summerfest what it is today will remain. So we will continue to work closely with our existing hardware partners to ensure seamless compatibility across all platforms. So nothing's going to change. Supposedly, that's what they all say when there is a merger. We'll see what ends up happening, actually. Next up, though, in the weekly windup, we are watching for your comments for Chloe. Make sure to bring them on. We'll go ahead and pin your, I'm going to go ahead and pin that comment as well for any questions for Chloe over on the live stream. But okay, next up, we are chatting this week on Zwift, and every week so far for the weekly windup since we restarted, we've talked a lot about esports. I definitely want to focus a little bit on something that's a little bit more community based, and that is, of course, the month of July, the Tour de France, and Zwift obviously has been involved with that. If you didn't know, they've not just been involved with the Tap the Tour with the current challenge that just got launched, but there's been a Tap the Tour training club all the way since January 1st, 2019, actually. This has been going on for, almost, what is it now, 6-7 months now in preparation. Pretty cool little training program that's been going on since then. I have a feeling this is going to launch again for next year. And I'm not positive about that. That's just me guessing. But make sure to keep an eye out for that, for this, because it is a cool partnership that you have. They have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. And now, with the Tour de France actually launching, there is also the challenge that you can do. If you haven't done a challenge out on Zwift, let's go ahead and show you how you can jump into a challenge on Zwift. I haven't actually entered the challenge yet, so I'm hoping that this works right now, just so you guys know. If this doesn't work, we're going to see how this works. But the top of my Zwift is just cut off there just because of a browser thing that we're trying to keep the top of my browser out. But I say, let's do this. You need to accept the legal stuff in order to do it. So when you log into Zwift, oh, shoot. When you log into Zwift, it was in that upper left-hand corner, and you push accept, and then bam, you're done. As long as you're logged into Zwift, your challenge is there. You need to climb whatever amount of feet that's there, do the number of miles, boom, you're done. And at that point, you have the ability to win a in real life Rafa and a Top of the Tour kit. The challenge does end July 28th. So make sure to jump into Zwift and do your Le Tap Tour alongside Tour de France. For those, we wanted to have a little bit of chatter about the Tour de France as well. You didn't watch the stage today yet, no, Nicola, right? So am I going to give you spoilers if I start talking about it? Do you care if I start talking about it?
I don't care that much yet, so go for it.
I don't care that much yet. All right. So, the opening stage, we had the Lotto Jumbo. It was not the Jumbo. Who was it? Was it Jumbo? Yeah, it was Jumbo, right?
Yeah.
Yellow Kids.
Mm-hmm.
The leader starts with the T, the guy's name. They were like, they didn't even know who he was when he crossed the finish line, actually. Remember? Like, they didn't even know who the guy was. So, but he ends up taking the yellow jersey. Tuzlin, I believe it was. Help me out, chat. Chat, help me out. Bring it. And then from there, the TTT stayed in it. It's great. But then Philippe today, just the attack was absolutely amazing today. And it ended up being perfectly timed as far as the course goes. Hilly climb. My silly. I'm trying to get all of my. Don't run on this page. I have ad blocker on, and it always makes it so that I can't bring up any of my stuff for this for the NBC Sports Gold. But the attack today from come on, Nathan, I had it all on the tip of my tongue today. Gosh darn it. Nicola, you gotta help me out here. Tour de France. I'm the one who said I was gonna spoil it. Stage 3 results, and I watched it, and it was Julian Alaphilippe. That's what Julian Alaphilippe. Sorry about that, you guys. He attacked with 7K to go. It was absolutely amazing in front of all of the French. Obviously, a huge result from him. Take the yellow jersey as well. It was he had to hold on to the last few kilometers. Actually, it was 30 seconds in the last kilometer. It was pretty amazing to watch. But obviously, Zwift trying to stay on top of, I think, the Tour de France. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was this Zwift, stay involved. There's always this, what's going on in the cycling thing. And I think there's a reality that they're trying to do their own thing, Zwift, but at the same time, stay involved in the rest of the cycling genres. So Sean Kelly says, Julia Philippe So you're fine. Yeah, I think I messed up the name a little. I always mess up the names. I always get some crap about that. But I do have my buddy Rasan here in a little bit of a video. And this is kind of interesting. And there's an Easter egg in this video. If you didn't catch it, I did post it on ZWIFT Riders. Rasan used to hang out on the broadcast with us as well. Hopefully we'll see him out here again. But let's go ahead and play through this here. Well, I need to get the... we turned off the... Give me 1 second here. The sound for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on. And so the video here, though, pretty cool. And they kind of
Get the app that turns indoor training into a game. On ZWIFT, you can ride anywhere, day or night. Chase riders from all over the world. Chase this guy. Wait, is that Garrett?
So obviously with
this
the tour,
is interval workouts, training
in
plans, and massive online
Bam, right here. So I made a post in ZWIFT Riders, but do you guys see all the names here? Check this out. So if you guys didn't catch this, Steve Beckett, John Mayfield, Alaric Marin, Lloyd Murphy, Scott Barger, and Eric Min. I don't know if you guys caught that, but happened to be on a group ride with Garrett Thomas. So that was a little bit of an Easter egg that if you guys didn't catch it in the TV commercial that is going to be playing, I believe, mainly over on the EU side of things. I haven't seen it personally during the Tour de France over here on NBC or anything, but I believe this is, it's been released everywhere else that I know, but I heard that this is also a TV promo too with Thomas in it. So a little bit of a catch there. These guys are actually
Group
World
rides
Tour
made fun
level riders.
because fun works.
This is how
Fun
ZWIFT
is result.
is staying involved with the Tour de France, obviously. Fun is fast. That seems to be the new tagline as well. And I think that's right alongside with the gamification. Some of the things we're going to talk about that we've been talking about, the Ghost Power-Up. Fun is fast. Nicole, I want you to comment on that, on how you work with your athletes with ZWIFT. I mean, we were just talking about how competitive you are. It's fun to win. Fun is fast, right? Like, is that what this is all about?
Definitely. Yeah, and, racing on ZWIFT can be frustrating because it is a different tactic. It's not just about pure strength. I mean, there's always tactics in outside racing as well, but this is a new game for us, and we're still learning. And it's the girls are doing their homework, but we still need more help. And they can get through the races, separate the field, stay in the group. They have no problem staying in the front group. But when it comes to the last few K, especially with the new power-ups, we're just figuring it all out,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's going to be our next talking point, actually, because we were rubbing it in a little bit before the the broadcast today. What happened with Show Our 2020 last week? But first, let's jump into a little bit more of a community thing before we jump into the classics here. The SRAM Send It series. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what is going on with all of the racing out on ZWIFT right now, and you want to get involved in a community race, you can do so. Race number 5, tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. my time. That is Central Standard Time. That is going to be 10 a.m. or Central Daylight Time at this time of year. That is going to be British Daylight Time. It's going to be 10 a.m. We also have the schedule. For those of you guys who did not see it, it is posted over on ZWIFT Community Live's Facebook. The weekly windup obviously going on right now. But then the SRAM Send It series, race number 5, Australian Community Winter Series with me and Pat Shaw. Let's go ahead and take a quick look, though, at the kind of talent that is showing up in the Send It series for the women and the men. Pretty amazing what has been going on. And if you've missed any of these races and you want to get up super early and jump into them, you can do so, obviously, if you're in any other part of the world. It is a focus in on the winter series for the Australian, the land down under the southeast, in the southern hemisphere, because it is their winter. But definitely check this out. The talent that's showing up is pretty amazing. Series leader, Whitehouse, now on the back foot a little bit as Shepard is off the front, riding here. It looks like in the Vision Kit here, 5.6, 5.7 watts per kilogram. The Kiwi here with that verified badge on, off the front by 14 seconds here. This looks like it might be all said and done already if she's able to hold on to this kind of the pace. 4.2 behind from Bree Wilson, currently second overall in the series. Has a gap on the rest of the field, but can she close down this kind of an effort here from Samara Shepard, who is just demolished it? There's a 49-second gap, and this isn't all in at this point. It's just solo TT and hope. It's not always a sprint finish. Sometimes the risky moves, if you got the wattage, can make it happen there, Pat. He's off the front here, and it looks like with 11 watts per kilogram, can she hold on? Heather's trying to come through from Specialized Women's Racing, but no. Breeze coming over the top here, and it looks like for second and third, it is going to be. So that was the Women's SRAM Send It Series race number 4 last week. They were out on New York, obviously. But Samara Shepard actually ended up taking the race win. She's the current reigning Kiwi national champion, the New Zealand national champion both last year and this year. Samara Shepard, top 10s at World Cups. Absolutely amazing racer, and has been showing up lately at a lot of ZWIFT racing. Recently got picked up by Vision Cycling, actually, in the world of the community trade teams now, essentially, is what seems to be going on. And Nicola, looking at the women racing down under and knowing the worldwide field now, does that kind of get the competitive juices going a little bit of like, okay, these girls, I don't know, we can take these girls on. Look who's coming up and look who's showing up. Is that what starts going on in your head when you start seeing these pockets of racing, yep. these what's the word, regional type racing going on? It's like, okay, this needs to all come together.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, originally we were going to be racing in the Australian races, but we couldn't compromise on a time. I mean, it meant 2 a.m. racing, and nobody's going to do that. And, you know, yeah, I mean, there definitely needs to be like a globalization of the schedule and, you know, getting these international riders all together. It does have its challenges, though, for sure. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it definitely, you know, seeing people stepping up their game in different parts of the world. All I can say is I'm glad we sort of got in on the early days, and, you know, our athletes are ahead of the game in so many ways already.
Yeah, for sure. And the reality of the athletes that are showing up, I think, is the talent pool thing is one of the big ones that we've been seeing, and the excitement around it too, in order to show off what you got amongst this community. You know, show off what you got on the platform too. And I think there's definitely a place for that, as we are seeing a little bit more of a community side of thing on the men's side of things. Now, Vision doubling up in the SRAM Send It Series. Race number 5 is coming up again tomorrow morning. If you want to mix it up with these guys and gals, here's another shot of what happened this past week in race number 4. Cam Roberts here, 5.3 watts per kilogram, the NRS leader here. Playing it smart so far. We saw him following the wheels, Pat, in the climb, and I think he was trusting and has, you know, gambled correctly here and rolled the dice that this would all come back together. And I'm TTing away. 8 seconds, 9 seconds. He's got the gap at this point. They're letting him go. It might be done, Pat. Cam Roberts might win this outright.
Seconds on the peloton. He has won every single round so far. The 3 rounds of the Send It Series, he has taken out all 3. And it looks like he's going to go 4 in a row, except tonight. He won't just win the National Road Series category. It looks like he's going to win the complete race, which is absolutely amazing.
Pat, Cam Roberts. So Cam Roberts takes down the win. Again, Vision goes 1-1, takes down the SRAM Send It Series race number 4. Jump into the race number 5, and that is going to be on Tuesday. Now, into the next talking point. Let's keep them rolling here. We're going to try and keep things a little bit quicker this week. But the ZWIFT Classics are coming up here Wednesday. It's going to be the men's race, the first race amongst the men. Race number 2 in the Classics, 1 day, 1 race, 1 winner. They're going to be out doing it's called ZWIFT Classics, the Apple Lap, and that is going to be on the park perimeter loop for the New York course. 4 laps they're going to be out there. But let's take a look at something else here real quick. And I named this one Scary Mary Ghost the Field. This is really interesting what happens here, as we've never seen anything like it.
This is amazing to see, something we don't see very often, a rider off the front at this late stage, but I'm still going to put it down to a sprint. I think she will be caught. You'll see the power and speed really increase as these riders get into her kind of drag. So here comes the final sprint down the mall for the victory of the first London Classic.
We do see Mary Wilkinson now countering Hubach here. Hubach's not going to be able to hold on to it, but Wilkinson goes from like 500 meters out. Wilkinson kicked it into 10 watts per kilogram, grabbed a solid 5-second gap.
All
right, everybody, so real quick, what I want to look at, I'm going to rewind here. And this, we missed it in some of the commentary, actually. But right here, you can see that Mary she ends up winning right there, as we saw her going there. But this is the first use of a counter. We missed it in the commentary. We talked a little bit after, but
off the front
right here, you can see Mary disappears right there at the front end of the field. She used the ghost power-up, gets off the front there. Nobody sees it going. She's up at 10 watts per kilogram at this point, and bam, Mary Wilkinson counters any arrow power-up that could have been seen. I'm not even sure Hubach had seen her until this point, and Mary Wilkinson goes to show us that the reality of this new power-up has changed things up. And what I think is really cool about this is that the gamification, like, well, first of all, I was wrong. I said that the ghost power-up was not going to do anything. I said that I was like, people are just going to be disappearing to the line, and it's going to be no big deal. But it has completely countered the arrow power-up at this point. Now, reaction from Nicola, and as well as maybe we'll ask Chloe a little bit later too. But you know, what's it? I think it's pretty cool. I wasn't excited about this power up at all, but now I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, you know, I think using it towards the end of the race when everybody's on the river anyway, and when you see the athletes on their trainers giving it like full gas effort, and they're barely looking at the screen because they're just getting every watt possible out of their body. It's the ideal opportunity to use it because, you know, you can blink and not see that somebody's not there anymore. And, you know, her tactic was beautiful and it worked. And, you know, we have a lot to learn still. And I think it was just a perfect use of that new power up.
Yeah, it was really, really well timed there, I thought. And the chat in the community says it was really fun to watch as well. I thought that it was interesting that that's what she had at that point. I'm wondering if she actually saved it into that point. I'm going to have to get an interview perhaps with her and see if, like, was that just happenstance, or was it, you know, was it just luck, or was she actually hoarding the ghost because she thought that'd be the better chance than a all-out sprint with an arrow power-up?
Yeah, who knows? It will be interesting to find out for sure. Can learn a bit from that.
Interesting. We're also seeing from the community here, James Hodges is letting us know that the KISS races starting on Thursday will use the new power-ups with the arrow disabled. So actually removing the arrow power-up from the pool. So that's pretty interesting to see as well. So kind of like a Zwift race lounge we're seeing here. That was a great race. We're seeing it from Krista as well. That one was fun to watch. Lots of chatter here coming through here. So good to see everybody that did enjoy that. But again, Zwift Classics, that's happening. That is going to be on Wednesday, the men's race. And then the following week, we have the next up in the women's racing, which is going, oh, excuse me, is that right? That is going to be the following week? No, it's going to be, Wednesday, August 7th, Richmond Challenge. That's on the UCI Worlds course, 2 laps. I think somebody won on that kind of recently. Interesting. But good to see that. But that's going to be happening August 7th, and that's going to be the Richmond Challenge on the women's side of things. So they're swapping every week, men's, women's racing. So next up in the show today, though, classics, gamification's great. See any more comments here from social. Nathan, any chance of getting KRT in the classic race? That is not up to me. I did hear about that, Russ, and I don't think there's anything to do at this point, but I'm not the one to talk to about that, but I do know that you can probably send an email back to the original email and see what happens there, Russ Carter. But thanks for the question, and I hope to see KRT from my own personal point of view in the races. So last thing up on the race schedule for the week, AHDR, the chop is still going on. It was a great race this past week. I really enjoyed to watch it because for the last 3 weeks, it's been the A's, the A's, the A's. And if you're unfamiliar with what the chop, AHDR chop is, it's It's handicap racing. Nicola, are you familiar with handicap racing? Are there any handicap races that, I mean, that's mainly like an Australian thing, it seems like.
Yeah, it is. I have definitely seen it more on the track, and but yeah, not in road racing.
Yeah, gotcha. And it was funny so I want to comment on this because I was almost a little bit scared to talk about it because Pat was telling me about where the chop came from, like the term, and it was that the athletes are chopping the prize money. Like that's where the term came from, was that like we're going to work together because rather than one person just win and take all the money, but they might not because we're not going to work together, they would say we're going to chop the prize pool and we're all going to work together until like the last few K and then somebody wins. And that's actually where the term came from, was that the chop was we're a category up the front, we're going to work together, but that's like against the rules, I would think though too. Like, isn't that like you can't do that?
Yeah, that does seem a bit dodgy.
That's all there is to it. There's just a little dodgy. Well, anyways, that's where the that does seem a little dodgy. But in the chop racing, handicap racing, the D's took it down this past week. It's gloves off in the final lap. It's gloves off in the final meters. It's no longer about chopping anything. It's all about first one across the line. And at this point, it looks like it's going to be Johnny Boy who's going to be taking that. What an amazing race here by the C category. They worked well together, or excuse me, the D category worked really fairly well together here with this front 5 or 6. They said they had to break away, though, I think, in order to make this happen and couldn't hold on to the rest of the pack. And it looks like this is going to be it. Johnny Boy for the win in today's chop race on the Innsbruck ring.
Yeah, it's going to be Johnny Boy takes it out. Well done. But is Estlin going to make it across the line? Big storm from behind. They're coming. River. Look at his move from River from Brazil coming over the top. And they're going to get Estlin on the line. Is he going to get Estlin on the line? Taylor comes over the top, but Estlin comes through in second. Taylor third. And that's a big effort. So the podium for the first C-grade rider. So running in third there was...
So that is AHDR the chop. Make sure to jump into AHDR chop racing. That is at 4:10 a.m. That is Central Daylight Time for the USA. That's going to be 10:10 a.m. British Daylight Time. And then it's going to be 7:10 p.m. AEST. Here again is the upcoming streams. These are the ones that we are covering, so that is why we are doing highlights of them every week on the weekly windup. So next up, though, we are going to have special guest along with us. Chloe DYGERT is jumping in with us, and from Show Air 2020, and that's not the right scene at all. For some reason, it says WAHOO at the top of this scene now, but it's supposed to say Chloe's jumping with us, but that has to do, everybody, just so you know, we're just going to blame Greg for that.
Yeah.
Greg needs to call that. We'll have him jump in here and fix that up for it. There we go. Greg, just mad scientist, everything up, and now it says chat with Chloe DYGERT. So definitely welcome to the program, Chloe. Appreciate you taking some time to hang out. And you're there because of all the events coming up and going into the weekend?
Yeah, you know, I'm really looking forward to especially Kristen's time trial, the chrono Kristen Armstrong time trial. It's gonna be good. Kind of get another crack at it because last year I got second. So, you know, hopefully to come away with the win there. Then we have the crit and then the Grand Fondo. So it's gonna be a fun weekend with the team.
So do you actually like really focus in on just that first event then, and the rest of them are kind of like, whatever? Or are you looking for like a GC? Is there a GC throughout the weekend? I thought that there were, or no?
No, it's just it's the individual events. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, of course, every race I line up to, I want to win. Yeah, you know, of course, I have certain goals. I have, you know, things that I focus on more than others. But yeah, you know, the time trialing obviously is one of my favorite things to do. So, you know, I put a lot of effort and focus into that, and my training, everything, you know, just do, you know, everything we can to make sure that I'm the best I can be in every event that I do.
Definitely. So as far as the questions that did come through, we did see one about Claudia Bering says, I want sprinting tips from Chloe. So now, is that, Claudia, is that a sprinting tip for Zwift specifically or in real life? Maybe we could just do both. So, and is there a difference? I guess I'm going to change the question just a little bit to make it a little bit more specific. But what would be your tips for in real life, I guess, then? And then does it change at all with Zwift? Because you've already been winning out on Zwift, it seems like. And it seems like you're focused a little bit on some of those races that like the classics and what we did with the KISS Super League as well.
Yeah, you know, I definitely wouldn't say that I am a full-on sprinter. I think what I excel at would be, you know, the longer sprints, you know, the previous races that I have won with, you know, the sprinters at the races. You know, I go off early, or you know, I do a little bit of a surprise attack or something nobody is expecting. Because I think if I were to come to the line, you know, I think I'm more of a diesel than I am a you know, top end sprinter. So you know, for me, that you know, that's something that I've learned is, you know, I just need to make sure that I'm in the best position that I can be. That if it does come down to a full on sprint, that I'm, you know, as smart as I can, and you know, that would probably mean that I'd have to go off early to make those sprinters have to jump and waste their match, where you know I can last, you know, longer than they can, where they could probably get a jump on me, but I could come around them because I can go longer.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's all really about, you know, finding what's best for you and what you're the best at, what your muscles are, you know, capable of doing. And, you know, and same with Zwift. You know, I've only done a few races, but it's still, you know, finding that sweet spot of knowing, you know, for me, still, it's probably best the element of surprise. You know, and it changes every race. There's a different spot in every race. You know, and yeah, it just what you can do.
Yeah, for sure. So on the you know, the Richmond course, I think you showed that out on Zwift. Rather than coming to the line with a sprint, you knew. What I want to talk about there is, did you feel like you knew the course, and that's why you just walked with, like, made a super early attack when you had the gap? You just were completely committed to it. It looked like, and because you didn't want to be a sprint effort at the end, you just were like, I'm just going to keep the hammer down here and TT away on this course.
Yeah, I don't know, something about that course that day. You know, I had such fresh legs on the actual world championship day. You know, I felt so good that I just have such strong, you know, I just love that race. I love that course. And to find out that that was my first Zwift race, and, you know, just, I'm so competitive and so like just all the time. It's, you know, when it's race day, it's race day. And I was so excited, so just ready to do that race. And you know, I knew all the moments. I knew exactly that course. You know, I still remember where the potholes are. I remember where the brick started. I remember where I needed to be on the brick. You know, obviously it's not on Zwift, but like I remember, and I had such a love for that course that I didn't even have to look at it beforehand. I just you know, I was really just so prepared and excited for that race that I think everything just really together. And you know, I just knew what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and I just, you know, was able to come away with the win.
That's pretty awesome. So, like, the reality of knowing that course in real life and kind of the field of that still played a role in your performance then out on Zwift too.
For sure.
So then looking forward to the classics then for you. Obviously, we're back out on the Richmond Challenge, August 7th. I want to ask a question about your training specifically for things like this. You know, Nicola and I, in some other conversations, were talking about, it was actually on the weekly windup, I think last week or the week before, the reality of, look, these Zwift races, they have a high priority now. It's not just training. It's like, we want to win. She's talking about how all the women on the team are interacting in chats about how are we going to make this happen? What, you know, what's the tactic for this week? You know, but at the same time, you have other high priority in real life events. How are you balancing that right now? And how are you thinking about the Richmond Challenge? Looking forward to this classic race one day. It's got prizes on the line. it's a real deal race now, you know? So what's that like?
I was talking with Nicola about it right before this, and we were, both like, "Oh, the Richmond, yes, so excited." But then we looked on that exact day. I am racing the time trial at Pan American Games, so I will sadly have to miss it. But it's Pan American Games time trial. I guess.
Yeah, this brings it all back to hoping that ZWIFT can work out a cohesive schedule with our outdoor racing, because like you said, this has become such a priority for us and the athletes love it, and there's such growth potential, especially in women's cycling, that it's important to sync up the schedules. Because like this, I mean, Chloe really wanted to race the Richmond course again and try and win again, but she's got Pan American Games, which comes around once every 4 years, and it's really good prep for Tokyo next year. So, in a perfect world, we'll have next year's race schedule out by the end of this year, so our Olympic athletes can actually work in some ZWIFT races into their schedule, because especially for the track athletes, it really works out as good training.
Yeah, that's a great point, and clip that. Right, like I'm gonna clip that right there, and we're gonna send that. Like, let's get this organized right a little bit. So I mean, because the winner from the Kiss Super League on the Richmond course not able to be there. Good luck though, of course, in the in the Pan American Games as well. That's pretty awesome. And then obviously in the races coming up this weekend, we do have another question here coming quick. They want to know, how did Chloe first get interested in cycling? Always curious how women got their start, and I think that's a great story, especially with what ShoAir 2020 is all about.
Yeah, I growing up, my family was always into bikes. My dad, his brother, my uncle. I had bikes growing up. I actually, for Christmas one year, I got a Trek mountain bike, and I was like, "What is this?" The only way my dad got me to ride the bike is because he said Lance Armstrong rode Trek. So, okay, that's fine, I guess, whatever, So, got interested then. Never really did anything about it because I was a runner. I wanted to be Steve Prefontaine, but had injuries. Started playing basketball, had injuries again. I was going to be Larry Bird, just didn't work out. And then cycling was kind of my escape, because I had knee surgery, shoulder surgeries, broken nose, stitches, anything you could probably think of injury-wise. And so, in 2013, my dad got me a felt bicycle for my birthday. I got gypped again because my birthday and Christmas are like right around the same time. So I'm like, I didn't get any Christmas presents. I'm like, what is this? This is not cool. But I got the felt bike, and I didn't think anything of it. Didn't really want to ride it at all. But I had 2 more surgeries after that, and just was on a little local team in Indiana, and went to nationals and was 3rd in 2 races and won a crit first year. And that's when I got a hold of Nicola, and it was 2016 at the time. And they just helped support me. They gave me what I needed to become a world champion as a junior. And so I just, without their support, who knows where I'd be now. 100%. My dad did a lot for me to make sure that I had, all the equipment I needed to be able to go to those junior nationals, to be seen. And, Nicola, she was there, everybody, they saw me, and they, really kept me under their wing, and, did a few pro races with the team, and, won worlds. And, I'm still there, still being supported, and I wouldn't have it any other way, So,
what was interesting about Chloe was she, even as a teenager, I mean, you could tell she cared when she lost. She would get really upset, just really want to win really badly. And at the first junior nationals in the time trial, I said, "How are you feeling, Chloe?" And this is at nationals, junior nationals. And she looked at me and she goes, "I want to win worlds." And I'm like, wait a second, we're not even through nationals yet. She just said, "I want to win worlds." And I knew right there, like, she has such a vision for where she wants to go. She's so determined. And, you know, she's got this like natural God-given strength, but she's also got this incredible aptitude to suffer like no other. And that's what makes the difference, I think, between her and a lot of athletes is something happens when she gets on her bike and she can suffer. And, you know, I find a lot of athletes these days don't know how to suffer, and it's a really hard thing to train. And one example of Zwift racing, with one of my athletes in particular, Erica Clevenger, she won't mind me saying this, is last year I would have this conversation with her a lot about, you know, you're only going to get better if you learn how to suffer. And it's not going to kill you. And there's this like pain barrier that athletes have to break through. And when they're racing Zwift, they're able to do that, you know, in the comfort of home. We've seen max power numbers on Zwift training and Zwift racing from our athletes because they can focus and suffer. And, you know, if they fall off their bike onto their living room floor after, it's no big deal. But they're still alive, and they realize this, and they
still
go,
alive.
okay.
At least you're still
Yeah,
alive.
they,
At least you're still
yeah, they go, okay, it wasn't that bad. I pushed myself through suffer. And, you know, Chloe's really good at that, really good at that.
That's absolutely awesome story, actually. Like, and that leads into another question that I have then. The suffering. I saw a video. I know you got to go soon, Chloe, but I saw a video of one of your teammates. I mean, the way that she was,
That
like,
was Erica.
it sounded like somebody was stabbing her. Like, there was this video on social media where it was like, you know, and somebody was yelling at her in the background. I think whoever was taking the video to go, go, go. And it was for like 10th place in the Zwift Classics race. It was like something or whatever. And, you know, Chloe, what's the suffering like on Zwift in comparison? I mean, they're just different. I've raced in both real life and Zwift, but there's something different about. Can you give us some, you know, experience, some words, some language around what that experience is and maybe the difference?
Yeah, you know, being a track athlete, I do spend a lot of time on a trainer, on a watt bike, on Zwift, on WAHOO, you know, everything. So I suffering on the road compared to, or, you know, even on the track is it's pretty similar, you know, all around. Suffering is suffering. And I find, you know, myself, especially in training, you know, because obviously you want to train harder than what you race in. And I find myself getting the best out of, you know, my workouts when I'm on the trainer, when I'm on Zwift. You know, there are times where, you know, I am projectile vomiting. Like I've had, you know, plenty of plenty of efforts and training days where I'm off the bike, head in a trash can, dry heaving, you know, but that's how I get better. If I just, you know, do the bare minimum or do just enough to get by, that's, you know, I mean, I could be fine with that, but that's, if I want to win, if I want to be the best, I know the only way I can be the best is if my head is in that trash can. You know, I need that.
Trash can racing. Trash can racing. Is that what we're talking about now? Oh, that's a great soundbite. I absolutely love that, Chloe. I absolutely love that. So you've got racing to do this weekend. You've got 3 races. You've got a time trial coming up with the Kristen Armstrong time trial. You guys are in Idaho. You're going to kill it. We're going to try and get some links in the chat for those of you guys are watching, specifically on the Facebook. We'll try and we'll get some shout outs as well on Twitter after the program. Chloe, I really appreciate you coming in for this, though. And it looks like we are getting a couple of comments actually coming in here from the community as well. They also really appreciate it. And Chris is saying, I think Zwift helped me see that I can push through more than I thought I could as well. Chris is also saying, but did you die, in response to but did you die question as
I almost
well.
did in Doha.
Yeah, she almost did in Doha.
Wait, what's that?
Oh.
I think it also had a lot to do with the fact that we were staying at the St. Regis. The UCI put us in this amazing hotel, and it incredible buffet, which was like acres of buffet every morning for breakfast. So that set the scene for the stage for the team time trial.
And so this was after the Olympics. We, Kristen and I, we had just gotten done with the Olympics. So we're peaked. We're like, I just need to rest, So of course we're going into this with the mindset, like we have to win, but it was like, I don't really want to,
And it was in Doha.
Yes, very hot. It was very hot. A lot of people were suffering from the heat. And so for breakfast, I thought it was a good idea to have buttered shrimp. Hot buttered shrimp.
Oh my God.
So
and lots of other things.
And lots of other things, yes. But we are in this time trial, at this point, Chris and I both were completely just like full gas, everything that we had, so was everybody else. But it was just such a unique race, everything that happened. And with 500 meters to go, I am projectile vomiting everything, everywhere. And I was supposed to be the fourth finisher. And our fifth man had just dropped off, probably with, the final turn. And I'm throwing up everywhere. So I'm like throwing up to the side first. I'm like, I can keep going. And the moment I took it in, it all just came out. And so, I had to sit up. I couldn't pedal anymore, else I would have kept throwing up. And all of a sudden I hear in the radio behind us, the girl who had just dropped off at the turn, her name was Annie, and I could hear our person in the radio, all right, Annie, head down, let's go, come on, keep going, and it was everything that we had to the line. It was unique experience, but yes, now I will never.
Unique experience. That's a pretty good description, I think, of that. So that's the comparison of Zwift racing. It's not the only place that you have trash can racing. Oh my goodness. So, if you want to if you want to catch more of trash can racing, no, I'm just kidding. So we could really make a whole thing out of that. But you guys do have something coming up here that is pretty cool, I believe, with a new group ride, if I'm not mistaken, that you guys are going to be launching here. The first one,
yeah.
When is the first one this week? Is that right?
Yeah, this week. It's 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and it's a 60-minute ride between like 1.8 to 2.2 watts per kilogram. Just nice social ride. And Amanda Coca, the ultra endurance world champion, will be leading it. I'll be sweeping, and we'll have different athletes every week. It's called the Road to Tokyo. And it's just an opportunity for the community to come out and ride with our professional athletes on a weekly spin. So be great if you guys can join us.
Pretty awesome. I am seeing it right here. This is over on zwift.com/events. You can also log into your companion app. Make sure to sign up with it, as you can see here. D category event, 60 minutes, 1.8 to 2.2 watts per kilogram. So anybody can jump in. Amanda Coker obviously grew up. The description here of the awesomeness that she's done. World record holder for 8,000 miles ridden in 30 days. World record holder for 86,000 in a year. World record holder at 100,000 miles in 423 days. I don't think you're going to be going but the whole idea is not to go crazy fast. It looks like you're going to be the sweeper, Nicola, for the ride as well.
Yep. I've been Zwifting. Yep. Getting ready for it. Yeah.
Cool. Right on. Cool on. It's the Road to Tokyo ride, 8 a.m. CDT. That is that 7 a.m. your time and 9 a.m. Eastern?
7 a.m. my time. Yeah, 7 a.m. Mountain.
Yeah, 7 a.m. Mountain, 6 a.m. PST.
9 a.m.
Yeah, and then for Europe, then obviously it's going to be 6 hours difference from what you see on screen here. So I believe that's like 2 p.m. or something like that. Anyways, make sure to check that out. Sign up for that on Thursday. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining in with the weekly windup. As always, I really, really appreciate it. I think, Chloe, what you got some training to do? You going to do some sort of a ride or food, or what's happening? What's happening? What's your prep? What's your prep for? Just last question. What's your prep for this weekend today?
Actually, I'm just coming off of a little bit of a break. So it's gonna be my mid-season break, and then this week, obviously I want to win everything. But I'm gonna use this as just continuing my training, and because the end goal obviously is World Championships and the Olympic Games. So I'm not gonna do anything that's going to prevent me to reaching those goals. So just taking it one day at a time here. But yeah, now we're gonna head out and go get some tacos at Tin Roof. My
Tacos.
favorite thing about Boise is Tin Roof tacos.
Tin Roof Tacos, everybody. That's where it's at. I absolutely love it. Thanks for jumping in the program, you guys. I really appreciate the interview. I hope to do this again sometime in the future after a few more races and more Zwift stuff, of course. But Chloe, really appreciate it. Nicola, thanks for jumping on as always this week.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
See you soon.
No problem.
See
See
you.
you guys. So
Bye.
that is
Bye.
going to be it for the weekly windup this week. If you're just tuning in, make sure to go back. We had a lot of cool stuff in the broadcast here. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that follow button wherever you're watching. We are live on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, as well as Facebook. We will be live here on Zwift Community Live's Facebook, as well as all of the Zwift Live / Go Live, Zwift Live / Go Zwift spaces as well for the SRAM Senate series tomorrow morning. Again, classics as well as the AHDR, the Chop. And then again, recap the group ride, which one ShowAir 2020 happened on Thursday as well. As always, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and that's going to be it for me until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning for the Send It series. As always, ride on.